General Hospital spoilers reveal that Drew is running out of time, and he knows it. The world he once controlled so effortlessly is slipping through his fingers, and no matter how hard he tries to hold on, the damage has already been done. His past betrayals, his reckless decisions, and the dangerous alliances he has formed are beginning to collapse around him like a house of cards. But instead of accepting the inevitable, Drew is doing everything in his power to keep at least one thing from falling apart: his relationship with Willow. Willow has always seen Drew as a strong and dependable presence in her life, a man who stood by her when she needed him most. But the version of Drew she once believed in is no longer the man standing before her. His desperate attempts to maintain control, his increasingly erratic behavior, and the undeniable sense of urgency in his actions are beginning to set off alarm bells. She is starting to question everything: his motives, his promises, and whether he truly cares about her or if she is just another piece of his grand plan to keep his world intact. Drew, sensing that Willow is beginning to slip away, has resorted to offering her things he once swore he never would. He is making promises, providing opportunities, and granting her privileges that are greater than anything she ever expected. Maybe it's financial security, ensuring that she never has to worry about anything again. Perhaps it's a position of power within the Quartermain family, giving her a voice stronger than even Carly or Michael. Or maybe it's something even deeper, an emotional manipulation that tugs at her loyalty, convincing her that leaving him would be the biggest mistake she could ever make. But Willow is not blind. She can feel the desperation in Drew's actions, and the more he tries to buy her loyalty, the more she realizes just how broken their foundation truly is. The more he pushes, the more she sees the cracks in his carefully constructed facade. She is starting to understand that what he is offering isn't love, it's a desperate bid to hold on to something he knows is already lost. Meanwhile, the dangers surrounding Drew continue to mount. His secret dealings with Selena, his growing conflict with Sidwell, and the deepening suspicions of those around him are all converging at once. He may believe that if he can keep Willow by his side, he can maintain some semblance of control, but in reality, he is only delaying the inevitable. His time is running out, and whether it's Sidwell, his own lies, or the weight of his past mistakes, something is coming for him, something he won't be able to escape. As Port Charles watches Drew spiral further into desperation, the question remains: will his last-ditch efforts to hold on to Willow save him, or will they only serve to push her further away? And when the final reckoning comes, will she be there to pick up the pieces, or will she be the one to walk away, leaving Drew to face the consequences alone? One thing is certain: Drew is a man on borrowed time, and the moment he fears the most is fast approaching. When the truth finally comes crashing down, there will be no turning back. Drew has struck a deal with Nina, a decision that will ensure his swift departure from Willow's life, but at what cost? The arrangement is more than just a simple agreement, it is a calculated move, one that reshapes the course of their relationships and exposes the depth of deception between them. What was once a romance built on trust is now unraveling into betrayal, and Willow is about to be hit with the harsh reality that the people she relied on the most have conspired behind her back. Drew's motives may seem straightforward: he knows that his time with Willow is coming to an end, whether he admits it or not. Instead of waiting for her to leave him, he is taking matters into his own hands, ensuring that the breakup happens on his terms. But what he fails to realize is that by aligning himself with Nina, he is setting into motion a chain reaction of events that will not only destroy his relationship with Willow but also leave a lasting impact on everyone involved. For Willow, the betrayal is almost too much to process. She has spent so much time defending Drew, believing in him, and standing by his side despite the warning signs. She wanted to trust him, to see the best in him even when his actions suggested otherwise. But this latest revelation shatters everything. Not only is Drew walking away from her, but he is doing it in secret partnership with the one person she never expected, Nina. Nina's involvement adds another layer of devastation to Willow's pain. Their relationship has always been complicated, filled with mistrust, resentment, and unfinished wounds. Willow had finally started to move past some of the bitterness, but now, this revelation throws everything back into question. Why would Nina be involved in Drew's decision to leave her? What does she gain from this deal? And worse, Was this something that had been happening behind her back all along? As the truth begins to unravel, Willow's world feels like it is crashing down around her. The betrayal is not just about losing Drew, it is about realizing that she was played, manipulated by the very people who claimed to care about her. She is left questioning everything, her past decisions, her relationships, and whether she ever really knew Drew at all. Meanwhile, Drew is facing the consequences of his choices in ways he didn't anticipate. He may have thought that ending things with Willow on his own terms would be the easiest way out, but he underestimated the emotional toll it would take. Did he truly believe he could walk away unscathed? Did he think that a deal with Nina would go unnoticed? As the fallout grows, he will be forced to reckon with the damage he has done, not just to Willow, but to himself. And then there is Nina. Her reasons for being involved in Drew's exit remain unclear, but one thing is certain, she now finds herself at the center of another storm, one that could reignite the hostility between her and Willow in ways she never imagined. Whether she acted out of self-preservation, manipulation, or even a misguided sense of protection, her role in Drew's departure will not be easily forgiven. As Port Charles braces for the inevitable confrontation, the question remains, how will Willow react when she learns the full truth? Will she finally turn her back on Drew for good, or will she demand answers that he is unwilling to give? And as for Nina, will this be the breaking point that destroys any chance of reconciliation between her and Willow once and for all? One thing is certain, this betrayal will not be forgotten. And as the dust settles, Drew may come to realize that in his desperate attempt to control the situation, he has only sealed his own downfall. Drew is destined to die, but the lingering pull of Willow's emotions toward him adds an unexpected layer of tragedy to his final days. As much as Willow once cared for him, his actions have left scars too deep to heal. There is no forgiveness, no reconciliation, only the looming shadow of unfinished business. Even as his time runs out, Drew finds himself unable to escape the weight of his own choices, and in a desperate attempt to make things right, he pens a final letter to Willow. This letter is not just words on a page, it is Drew's last chance to explain, to justify, or perhaps even to seek redemption for the damage he has done. But will it be enough? The impact of his betrayal is still fresh, and Willow, despite whatever remnants of affection she once had, cannot simply forget the pain he caused. Yet, when she finally reads his words, she is forced to confront something she never expected, a side of Drew she had refused to see. Maybe he confesses something in that letter, an unspoken truth that changes everything. Maybe he reveals that his alliance with Nina was never meant to hurt her, but rather to protect her from something far more dangerous. Or perhaps he finally admits to his flaws, acknowledging the ways in which he failed her, failed himself, and ultimately failed to be the man he wanted to be. But regardless of his intentions, the reality remains, Drew is gone, and whatever he wrote will be the only part of him left for Willow to hold on to. Will she cling to his final words as proof that somewhere beneath the lies, the manipulation, and the desperation, there was still a piece of the man she once loved? Or will she see it as just another attempt at justification, a feeble excuse for everything he put her through? As the weight of his death settles over Port Charles, the letter becomes a defining moment in Willow's journey. It is not just about grieving Drew, it is about deciding whether to let go of the anger that has consumed her or to hold on to it as a reminder of the lessons she has learned. The choice will shape the person she becomes moving forward. Meanwhile, those who knew Drew will also have to reckon with his loss. Carly, who once saw him as a strong ally, will be forced to confront the ways in which their relationship deteriorated. Nina, whose connection to him was always shrouded in secrecy, may struggle with guilt over her role in his downfall. And for those who were already skeptical of Drew's recent choices, like Michael and Sam, his death might solidify their belief that he had long since lost his way. But in the end, the letter is not about them. It is about Willow and the final message Drew left behind. Whether it brings her closure or only deepens the wounds, one thing is certain, it will be a moment she never forgets. And as she reads his last words, the echoes of what could have been will linger, haunting her long after Drew is gone. Willow is facing a heartbreak so profound that it threatens to consume her entirely. The death of Drew and the gut-wrenching betrayal by Nina have left her more lost and alone than she has ever been. For so long, she believed that she had built a life filled with love, trust, and family. Now, in the wake of Drew's sudden death and Nina's deception, she finds herself standing in the wreckage of everything she once held dear. Drew's death is an unshakable reality that has shattered whatever remained of her faith in him. No matter how deeply his actions had wounded her, there was still a part of her that hoped for a resolution, some kind of understanding that might have allowed her to make peace with what they once were. But now, that closure has been stolen from her. Instead of answers, she is left with an unbearable silence, a void where his presence used to be. The man she once admired, the man she fought for, the man who promised to be different, he is gone, and all that remains are broken promises and unanswered questions. And then, there's Nina. The woman who had already been the source of so much pain, the woman Willow had spent so much time trying to forgive, trying to accept. There had been moments, brief, fleeting moments, where Willow considered the possibility of a real connection, where she thought perhaps they could find a way to move past their history. But now, that illusion is gone. Nina, who had begged for a second chance, had thrown it all away with her latest betrayal. She had conspired with Drew, helped orchestrate the very decisions that led to his downfall. And worst of all, she had done it knowing exactly what it would cost Willow. Now, Willow stands in the aftermath, more alone than she has ever been. Michael is still by her side, but his support does not erase the loneliness creeping in. Carly, who might have once been someone she could lean on, is drowning in her own grief and rage. Christina and Sam, though family in name, feel like strangers in the midst of everything that has happened. Even the Quartermains, who had once provided a sense of belonging, now feel distant and disconnected from the storm raging inside her. For the first time, Willow feels utterly abandoned. She has survived pain before, she has lost people, she has endured betrayal, but nothing has ever felt quite like this. This is not just grief, this is the complete collapse of her belief in the people she once trusted. She has spent her life fighting for love, for stability, for a sense of home, and now, she feels like she has none of it. As she stands at Drew's grave, staring at the earth that now separates them forever, she wonders what hurts more, the fact that he's gone or the fact that even if he had lived, she could never have forgiven him. The thought haunts her, tightening around her like a vice. She was supposed to have more time to figure it out. She was supposed to have the chance to make sense of it all. Now, she never will. And then there's Nina, trying to explain herself, trying to justify what she has done. Willow listens, but she hears nothing. The words mean nothing. It's too late. There is no going back from this. Whatever fragile, tentative connection had begun to form between them has been obliterated. Nina will never be a mother to her. She will never be anything more than the woman who destroyed what little piece Willow had left. So, what does she do now? How does she move forward when she feels as if there is nothing left to hold on to? She could shut down, retreat into herself, push away the people who still want to be there for her. She could build walls so high that no one could ever hurt her again. She could let the pain harden her, turning her into someone unrecognizable even to herself. Or she could fight back. She could refuse to let this break her. She could take the pain, the betrayal, the loss, and turn it into something stronger. She could take control of her own life, refusing to let the people who hurt her define her future. One thing is certain. Willow is not the same woman she was before. She has been tested, broken, and left with nothing but the raw, burning ache of survival. And whatever comes next, whoever she becomes in the wake of this tragedy, will be shaped by the pain she is carrying now. This is her turning point. The question is, who will she be on the other side of it? Nina is about to make an offer that could change everything for Willow, an offer fueled not by reconciliation, but by revenge. In the aftermath of Drew's betrayal and his shocking death, emotions are raw, and tensions have never been higher. But rather than seeking peace, Nina sees an opportunity to shift the power dynamics between her and Willow in a way that no one ever expected. She is not asking for forgiveness anymore, she is offering something else entirely, a chance to destroy Drew's legacy and take control of the narrative once and for all. For Willow, the offer is unexpected, almost surreal. She has spent so much time fighting against Nina, resisting her influence, shutting her out at every turn. But now, standing in the wreckage of what Drew left behind, she finds herself at a crossroads. The anger, the betrayal, the overwhelming sense of loss, it's all building inside her, threatening to consume her if she doesn't find an outlet. And Nina, sensing this darkness, is ready to push Willow further into the abyss. The deal itself is simple. Nina wants Willow to help her dismantle whatever remains of Drew's influence. Perhaps it involves stripping away any power he left behind, ensuring that his memory is tainted rather than honored. Maybe it means going after the people who stood by him, exposing more secrets that could ruin his reputation forever. Or maybe, just maybe, it's something even more personal, something that goes beyond revenge and into a complete transformation of who Willow once was. At first, Willow wants to refuse. She doesn't want to be like Nina. She doesn't want to let the pain turn her into someone she won't recognize. But the more she thinks about it, the harder it is to ignore the weight pressing down on her chest, the need for justice, or maybe just the need to make someone else hurt the way she has been hurt. This is where everything begins to shift. The moment she even considers Nina's offer, something inside her begins to change. The grief and devastation she felt over Drew's death start to morph into something else entirely, something darker, something dangerous. The old Willow, the one who always tried to see the best in people, who always tried to be the bigger person, is slipping away. In her place is someone who is ready to embrace the pain, ready to use it as fuel, ready to stop being the one who gets hurt and start being the one who takes control. Nina watches carefully, knowing she is playing with fire. She doesn't just want revenge on Drew, she wants something more. She wants Willow to see things the way she does, to stop pretending that being good will ever protect her from betrayal. She wants Willow to step into the darkness fully, to become something new, something unrecognizable. The tension between them is palpable. Nina knows she has to tread carefully. Push too hard, and Willow might turn away completely. But push just enough, and she might finally get what she's always wanted, a true connection with Willow, even if it comes from a place of anger rather than love. Meanwhile, the rest of Port Charles will start to notice the shift in Willow. The way she carries herself, the way she speaks, the way she no longer looks at things with the same sense of hope and idealism. Michael, Carly, even Christina and Sam, they will all see the changes happening before their eyes. But by the time they realize just how deep Willow is sinking, it might already be too late. This is no longer just about Drew. This is about Willow standing at the edge of something terrifying, something irreversible. And if she takes Nina's hand, if she allows herself to give in to the anger, to the desire for revenge, she may never come back from it. The question now is, will she let the darkness consume her, or will she find a way to pull herself back before it's too late?